no hero, no hero, no hero left. Unsung. I said no hero, no hero, no hero left. Unsung.
We ready? We good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. We're doing it. Welcome back to the Unsung Heroes podcast. My name is Samuel, and I am the host for this week. And I am joined by my friends, Daniel,
Hello.
who's there.
I forgot we're supposed to say hi. I thought.
Yes.
And then we have James.
Hello, greetings.
And we have Johnny.
Hi.
Every week, this is our plan for today and for every week and for every 6 years.
Well,
I
every
guess.
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, like we record each episode like the day before they come out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the
Okay.
live-
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
it's every 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
Yes.
I stand corrected. We'll change that.
This is actually live, Samuel, if you didn't realize.
Oh,
No one to the audience. So our goal is to leave no hero unsung. Like I said, what we are going to do is we are going to have a conversation about an unsung hero. And then we have the wonderful James and Johnny who are going to write a song about this said hero. And then we're going to share it with you at the end of this episode. So stay tuned, enjoy. And I'm so excited for this episode. I found this person like a month and a half ago. And as soon as I found out about this woman, I was like, this is everything that this show is about. So,
Wow.
Okay.
yeah,
It's my mother.
My
what a
wife.
setup. No, so okay, I will back up though. So one of the things that I love about doing Unsung Heroes is you get to kind of jump into like topics that you never really would like otherwise explore, you know? Like
Yeah,
so,
like history for me.
Just
Come on, man.
Right.
all of history.
All of history.
right. So for me, for example, I have this dream where one day I am this like super avid hiker. And that I am able to like hike all of these like wonderful trails. So this is like a family thing for us. We want to try to do hiking quite a bit. But we're nowhere close to doing anything like that. But I found this woman. So this is, I will go ahead and tell you, this is Emma Gatewood. She is known for being the first woman to solo hike the entire Appalachian Trail.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Yes.
write down some words that rhyme with Emma Gatewood. Quick, just let's get started on that.
And
Gatewood.
Appalachian.
Yes.
Appalachian. Oh my gosh.
Mate.
This is going to be a tough
So
hard
she is the first woman to solo hike the entire Appalachian Trail.
Nice.
So she did it all by herself. And she is also the first person to do the entire trail 3 times, man or woman. And she did all of this as a grandmother.
No.
Oh, okay. Did not expect
That's
that.
Yeah,
great.
great grandmother, actually. She was a great grandmother. Yes.
And he's like, no, just kidding. Great
No,
grandmother.
No, okay. So she was in her late 60s
That's
when she did this.
crazy.
And so like I'm so pumped. She has this crazy story.
crazy.
I ran 1.5 miles this morning. And if you saw how out of breath I was, she would probably be.
You should see me going up the
This
stairs.
is what our country's come to. If she saw me today, like
I haven't done that since probably 9th grade, James.
You
So you're way ahead of me.
I don't know, man. It wasn't pretty.
Well, my first contribution to this podcast, I want to say, I do not get people who solo hike. That's all I'm going to
You
say.
don't get people
Solo
who's-
hiking.
Yeah, I'm like, what
Is
do
it
you,
all for
what
the
do you think-
social aspect?
what do you think
for
about? I mean, you just
What do you think?
left alone with your
What do you
thoughts
think about it?
and the black bears all around you.
Daniel,
like,
what do you do when you're by yourself? You just
I'm not by myself.
You're
That's
not by
why.
yourself?
Yes. Anyway,
the scary thoughts come in. Yeah.
the boring thoughts.
The
come.
boring
That's
thoughts.
what it is. Anyway.
Okay, so yes, she is this figure larger than life. She was 67 when she first hiked the Appalachian Trail, and she would go on and do it multiple times. So I'm just pumped to tell you about her. So yeah, let's get started. We can tell her a little bit about her story. So yeah, so she was born in the late 1800s, 1887 to be exact. She was born in a rural county in Ohio. And as you would it's probably not very surprising to learn that she was born into a farming household. So she was a farmer's kid, grew up on the farm, and all of the chores that kind of were related to that, she was doing everything. She was out in the fields. She was working from the early morning, late into the evening. And this is actually a really important part of her story because she ends up really kind of, I mean, she learns the resilience that requires like working in a farm, but she also spends a lot of time out in nature. So she learns all of the kind of like wild greens that you can actually eat, the medicine, the herbs that you can find out. So she kind of took a keen interest in that.
She's a person of the earth. Right?
Person of the earth. That's right.
I'm a person of the man cave. I'm a person.
Right. Right. The person of the man cave. Yeah. No. So
I'm a person of the screen. It's like,
But seriously, that is like an area that I know nothing about. Like what's safe to eat, what's like being out in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My daughter and I we were living in a place with a lot of land for a brief while, and we'd go and find these cool things out in nature, and we found these beautiful red mushrooms. And I'm like, I want to see, like, I got one of those little.
You want to see what? You want to see what happens when you
wait? Well, I wanted to see what happened. I got an app that scans plants. You know, the ones that like scan and tell you like what the plant is.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is a delicacy, one of the most delicious kinds of mushrooms out there, favored by all the Roman emperors of old, called a Caesar's head. Now, it also is closely resembling the most poisonous. So I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like,
Which
really?
one is it?
But I spent so long making sure like this is an edible one, and I ate it. It was amazing. It was good for fun. But I was, it's like that.
I don't think I would have eaten.
I don't think I would have.
Dude, even if that thing
too
said
risky,
it's totally
dude.
fine, I don't think I would have done it.
It looks just like the poisonous one, but it's fine. No,
It's like that.
I'm not taking that chance.
Oh, you know, that AI thing where it's like you don't really know if you can trust what it's saying.
Exactly.
But, you know.
It wasn't
Right,
risk.
yeah.
It's like 99% accuracy.
Right.
But
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh yeah. But I will say, like, this is actually a really important part. It's like a brief part of her life, of course, but it is really influential in the sense that like she learned a lot of the skills that in order to be able to accomplish what she does later, because she was working on the farm and because she kind of grew up with this knowledge that honestly so many of us are just kind of displaced from. Like we really are, like we're not out farming, we're not out in the fields or doing anything like that. So yeah, she
maybe some of our listeners are.
Well, maybe, you know, and that kudos to you.
While you're listening to this.
Right.
Tilling the soil.
Tilling the soil.
That's what they do when they're out in nature, Daniel. They listen to the podcast about.
well, this is
That's what you
solo
could
hiking.
do. Just listen to this while you solo hike.
You know, you could do like the,
We don't have
the
enough
TikTok
content
scroll where you have like
for-
the temple run game. You could do that while you're walking on the trail.
2 phones, auto scrolling, like.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But it's even crazier that this is the 80s. My goodness. Anyway,
Yeah.
well,
So okay,
1880.
1880.
She was born in the 1880s.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
this is-
Yeah,
okay, well, 19 early 19. But anyway, I'm when I think about solo hiking, I'm obviously thinking about this time and age, like in 2026.
yeah.
Like, did she just wear her normal clothes to hiking? Did they have
We will get there.
camelbacks
We
or
will-
whatever?
we'll get-
Anyway.
Yeah. We'll
get
let
to that.
Sam
We're
continue.
getting- Yes.
There is another big part of her life that I think is really important for us to talk about. So at the age of 19, she got married. So the man, his name is PD, and this is the part, honestly, we're going to probably have to do like a content warning because this is the really rough side of her life. She, within like 3 months of getting married to this man, it turns out that this man is just a violent person. Very abusive, very kind of this just like hostile person. So I'll spare the details of her story in this part of the story, but she put up with this for like 30 years, where this man was just a like completely violent person. She said later on that there were a couple of times where she almost died because of how violent he got, just completely abusive. And part of it too, this guy, he kind of had this, this was just kind of who he was in some ways. Like he, in the 20s, was convicted of manslaughter because he got into a fight with somebody.
He was already
So he was already kind of that, he had that disposition. And it was an interesting, like a little note from that time So he was convicted of manslaughter, but he didn't have to serve his prison sentence because he had a farm and several children that he had to take care of.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
But
So
he
it's
had to
like,
pay restitution to the widow who the
As a
husband
way to
was
protect
killed.
his children without-
Yeah.
makes sense.
So, which is interesting. Like, it's like on one hand, I read that and I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound really
Doesn't
like
sound fair,
It doesn't sound just.
Yeah.
But for the kids' sake, to provide for them, that's tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you're.
tying that back into ancient Near Eastern archaeology stuff. There's Hammurabi's law code, for example. There's these really weird laws that confuse my students when I first read them because it says when a man is getting sold into slavery for debt slavery. So if he has debts he can't pay off, he sells himself into slavery temporarily, his children and family must go with him. And at first people are like, oh my gosh, think about it, right? If the man is not there to help with the farm and the livelihood and substance and farming, right, then his children are essentially
Right.
a death sentence for them.
Right.
So the idea is that you have to all come into slavery so that you're at least provided for by the master for the interim while you're a slave. So it's like that doesn't seem fair, but it's like, what else do you do?
Makes
Right.
sense.
There's no social systems in ancient Babylon to handle those kinds of problems. That's
Yeah, and even like into the 1920s, that kind of there is a similar line of thought that just kind of continues that like you don't want to leave the wife and kids
Right.
like out and destitute.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just that was an interesting like little note where there's a like our idea of justice or like what would be right in that situation is kind of context has changed just a little bit, I think.
And she's obviously extraordinarily resilient coming out of this. I mean, to withstand that kind of treatment and also to have her own upbringing. So this is I get kind of the picture you're painting here.
Yeah. So I will add this detail about this relationship. So there were often, like I said, oftentimes where he would get really physically abusive. And what she would do in response, which is just heartbreaking, is she would run into the woods and she would hide. She would spend just a bunch of time out in nature once again. She would just kind of find a solace, a kind of way to escape. So she would go, pretty much any time that he got violent. So
honestly, solo hiking makes sense in that scenario.
Yeah, it's a very different motivation than like, oh, I want to, conquer this physical feat versus clearly this is, influenced by her background and her safety and her kind of safe haven.
Exactly.
From that, so.
Yeah. And that is a big part of it. There's this question I was kind of reading in the research. People are like, was she the motivation? She never was like very clear to reporters why she was doing all this hiking. And so you kind of have to think like there has to have been some motivation of like, what was she processing as she was going on these hikes? But we'll get to that part.
I imagine reporters like on the trail with her, like
Forrest Gump.
Oh
like,
yeah.
beside her.
No, it's quite similar in a lot of ways to Forrest Gump.
She invent the mountains are calling and I must go.
Pretty much.
Whenever you go to Appalachia, we live pretty close to Appalachia out here. When you go out there, you see all the signs everywhere. The mountains are calling. And I don't know why, but I just have to go.
Yep. Okay, so I'll add one more part with this relationship with PD. We'll kind of wrap that
Is his
up.
name PT?
PD,
the letters P
letter
and D.
PD. I actually don't know what that stands for. We can figure that out.
Producer
Colin
Austin. By the way, he's still here.
Yes.
What up, producer Austin?
Austin being the unsung hero.
What's his last name?
Unsung producer.
So Gatewood would have been.
Okay.
So I think
Austin
so
has it.
I don't know where PD comes from. His name is Perry Clayton Gatewood.
Perry
So I don't know where the D comes from. but
you know what it comes
knows.
from? It comes from me misreading my notes.
There it is.
That's what it is.
There
It's
it is.
PC.
This is why we have producer Austin.
There we go.
Let's
Fact
earn
check
his
him.
paycheck.
Oh, I thought it was PD this whole time.
Man, I'm gonna say PD the rest of the time.
Man. Okay. A
PC.
man named PC, so personal computer.
Okay.
Oh yeah, politically correct.
Politically correct.
First the computer. Okay.
Okay, good. PC. Got it.
You're right.
PC Gatewood.
His name is PC
Okay.
Gatewood, and married Emma Caldwell, I think.
Is
We
her
can
maiden
fact
name?
check that
What's her
one.
maiden name? Yeah.
Maiden name. So the final
we got
years.
we got the maiden name.
Her middle name is Rowena.
Rowena.
Rowena?
Her middle
Rowena?
name?
But her
Rowena.
maiden name?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what it
Miranda.
has listed as. That's currently
Producer
listed.
Austin.
After marriage, Rowena is middle name.
Rowena. Okay.
Rowena.
Could've been
Yes. that's a good name. Bring Rowena back.
That's kind of nice. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll share her marriage with PC was longer than 35 years, or 30 to 35 years, I should say. And the final straw was basically this altercation. They got into a huge fight. He was once again really physically abusive, kind of broke maybe some ribs or something like that. And she retaliated by throwing a sack of flour at him. And he like calls the police, and the police come, and they end up arresting Emma. They arrest her because he called the police on her.
That's interesting.
No, so they like called the police, or he called the police. The police come, and they choose to arrest Emma. And so she ends up going to jail.
That's crazy.
Which is just insane.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So Emma ends up going to jail, but thankfully the mayor, for some reason, he ends up hearing about the situation, sees that like the condition that she's in, she's kind of messed up and been very clearly she's been beaten. So he saves the day and ends up finding a job for her, gets her out of jail.
Wow.
And she ends up starting work like in the town, and that's kind of the final straw. She manages to get a divorce maybe like a year or two later,
and I'm guessing she's able to prove pretty demonstrably,
right?
Because at that point there wasn't no fault divorce, so it would have been pretty, like, you had a pretty good evidence
exactly
of extensive abuse.
And it is important to remember, like, divorce in the early 1940s was just kind of unheard of,
very rare.
Like, you're
especially
not
for a woman to initiate it. I'm sure it was even harder. But
but
wow, good on that mayor.
I know.
Yeah,
honestly,
good mayor, man.
A mayor, I don't know what they do nowadays, but they should be doing that type of stuff.
That's what they should do, yeah.
Well, to know your people that intimately.
Know your
right.
people that well.
Know your
right.
constituents.
Yeah, no, it's good for him, just the ability to step in with that. But like I said, that is kind of the final straw. She ends up divorcing him, and this is the early 1940s, so let me see if I wrote that down. She was probably... Yeah, she was in her mid-50s. So she was 54 years old.
Already at that point. Wow.
Yeah, remember, she was married at 19. So she, like...
That was a long time.
Yeah.
And how many children?
She, at this point, would have had 11 kids.
11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow.
11 kids.
Haven't beat Dicey Langston from season 1. Remember the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
20, she have 20 children, I think?
Dicey had like 20 or something.
Oh, my goodness. That's incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
So 11 still.
Yeah. Producer Austin? How many kids did
How many
Dicey
kids-
Langston have?
We should know. We did a podcast on.
Just go back to our podcast.
Sam, wasn't it your episode?
Yeah, listen to
It
the
was,
whole
no,
episode.
it was something like 20. I do remember it was 20. I don't remember.
Okay, Austin,
What is it?
She had 22 kids.
22.
Oh,
double.
So, yeah.
Double.
After having my number of kids, she had 20 more. Like, that's, man.
You think you can handle like 2 or 3?
I can't even
We
handle
need to
two.
find
I'm
someone
like-
who has 33 kids. By 11 every time.
Anyway.
Oh, goodness.
This is about her.
Okay, so yes, she gets divorced in her mid-50s, and she does still have a few kids. They're a little bit older, but she has 3 kids at home, so she has to take care of these 3 kids. But yes, so that sets the stage for what is the rest of her life and her career as the hiker that we all know and love. So in the mid-50s, we'll fast forward just a little bit. She, I want to say like in 1954, sometime around then, she's living in Ohio. All of her kids are grown. They're kind of out on her own. She one day is just in her house, and she finds a copy of a 1949 edition of National Geographic.
Say we got some time travel involved.
Yeah,
in
no,
this one.
so she finds an
49,
older copy of National Geographic, and she reads that copy, and there's this long article about the Appalachian Trail, and you can actually go and find this copy of this article, and what you'll see is that it kind of has this like really idealistic, picturesque view of the Appalachian Trail. Like, there are cabins, there are
Like, it
kids.
actually has pictures of it?
Yeah, so it's so there are pictures.
It's like an
in this-
Instagram reel of the Appalachian Trail.
right? And if it were in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
So it is this like kind of picturesque. There are like Boy Scouts hiking it. Really, kind of this
We got
this
photos
lovely
of it.
thing. Yeah. So
Oh,
There it
producer
is.
also
Look at
has some
it.
photos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
put
Yeah.
these on the
Oh, look
screen
at
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah, Boy Scouts.
And so this would have been after. So FDR,
Whoa.
with his New Deal, of course, has the TVA, these different organizations that have like probably done a bunch of work
For the national
restructuring
parks,
Well, what year
and
was
all the
the
parks and all
In
the
the 50s.
Did they
Yeah.
did they do stuff on the trail? Was this the beginning of its like kind of?
Yeah, so the trail at this point had
Is that-
already been
That's not her, is it?
No,
This
no,
is still the National
I'll-
Geographic
yeah.
article.
Oh, what year is
Austin, you
edition?
can go ahead and pull up
49.
a picture of her. I'll tell you when to
Okay,
show
because
her.
that all that's the TVA whatever would have been 20s, right?
Yeah.
So presumably by then
Well,
they
the
would've-
30s actually, I think, the
30s,
late
okay.
20s to 30s. Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so she sees this picture and reads this article, and she decides that it's something that she wants to do and something that she feels like she could do. So we're gonna jump to July 1954. So what she does is she goes and takes a couple bus rides, and she goes from Ohio and she goes all the way up to Maine.
So she starts at the north.
So
end
she
of it.
starts at the
Okay.
north. So a little bit of
okay.
context. I did not know this. I'm not that into the hiking world. But there are two ways that you can do the Appalachian Trail. One is to go from Georgia all the way up to Maine. And that's the standard way you do it. You
Right,
go
right.
from the south, you go all the way to the north. And then there's the other way, which is to go from Maine all the way to Georgia. That's 14 states. That's like over 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and most people will start in the spring and then they kind of work their way north as the seasons get warmer. She was starting in July and was trying to go as it was getting colder.
Well, that's going in July. I mean,
Go
you
south.
tell us how long it took her later, but like
Right.
Yeah.
you're getting into cold weather here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not bad in the south, but it's still.
yeah.
It's still
But
further
even
down.
in the north, so I can't remember the detail. But yeah, like north in Maine, tons of mosquitoes, just miserable, still not a great time to start.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take to do that whole thing?
We can ask Austin.
Actually, how long does it take in this day and age, Austin?
Yeah, like
I'm guessing it's
Compare
going to
us.
be 6 months, about 6
Okay.
months to take. But yeah, so we're talking over 2,000 miles, close to like
Yeah.
2,200.
Yeah.
But this first trip, I'll go ahead and tell you that she doesn't do it. This is the first time she doesn't actually do it.
Okay, Austin has the miles for it, or the
Yes, let's hear it.
timeline.
Hiking the entire Appalachian Trail typically takes between 5 and 7 months, depending on the pace.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Wonder how long it took her.
Yeah, well,
We'll see.
you'll find out.
wait. So when you say she doesn't do it, she doesn't hike the Appalachian Trail.
Not this time. No.
First time. She just
But
makes
she's
This is
in-
her first attempt, remember?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
she does go to Maine, but she doesn't.
She goes to Maine, she starts, and then 2 days later, she finds like a river. And she like sees some like really nice water and she decides she wants to take a bath. She gets in the water, comes back out, steps on her glasses.
Oh.
And
That's up the foot.
well, no, she doesn't cut up the foot, but like kind of just snaps it. She thankfully she finds some tape and is able to kind of patch it together. But as soon as she fixes it, she puts it on and she realizes she has no idea where she is. She's like completely lost.
Oh no.
Oh,
Like
no.
she hadn't even gone like a day or two and she's already totally lost. So she picks a trail and she starts going and she starts setting out these signal fires because she's like, okay, clearly I'm lost. I'm not going to be able to do this.
So dangerous when
That's
you're lost.
very
Like,
scary.
And so I can't remember how long this first one was, but she finds basically some park rangers end up finding her because she's setting these fires. And they tell her, they're like, go home, grandma. That's what they say.
well, and at this point, how old is she again? She was
So-
So
67,
she's
yeah.
no, she's 66 at this
so
point.
still you're
Yeah. So
Wow.
So she's still young.
yeah.
She's got time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we think of 60s as not like as old these days, but in the 50s, I
But-
feel like if you're 60, then that's
remember this
That's
too.
pretty old,
she
right?
had 11 kids. And I didn't mention this part, but she was not only a grandmother at this point, but she was a grandmother to 23 children. So yes, her kids were born pretty young and they've already had quite a bit. So she is an established grandma at
Why
this
isn't
point.
Grandma here for Christmas this year?
Yeah.
She's hiking the Appalachian Trail. Honey. You know Grandma.
If Dicey was one of those kids, she would have 22 just from one kid.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Wow. Anyway, random.
Yeah. Okay. So she ends up going home. The park rangers convince her. They're like, "You
Don't
go
know what
home,
you're doing.
grandma.
Yeah.
Don't do this." And she's like, "Okay, I'll go home." But she's not done. she's ready to tackle again.
First I thought you were like, she snuck around and went back in again.
You're like, we can still see you.
I'll go home.
Right.
And then she goes.
Yes. So she
does go home, though.
She does go home, but she is ready and she's coming back with a vengeance. So we're going to talk a little bit about her first hike, and this is the successful one. So she waits until next spring.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she decides that she's going to go, instead of going from Maine to Georgia, she decides she's going to go the other way, Georgia to Maine. Okay. Some people even said that the reason she did that was because she didn't want to run into the rangers again, the park rangers.
Hey, what are you again?
Wait a minute. Yeah. So she does that, and before she goes, she's going to get on a flight to Georgia and take the bus to the start of the trail. Before she does that, though, she tells her kids she's going out on a walk.
I mean, she's not lying.
A really long walk.
She's like, did I lie, though? Grandma, you were gone for 6 months.
That's crazy.
So, yes, she tells...
pack of cigarettes. It's like...
Yeah, so she tells the kids she's going out for a walk, ends up getting a plane ticket, flies to Atlanta, and then takes the bus to the start of the trailhead.
Wait, so they genuinely didn't know that she was doing this?
Those kids had no idea.
That's insane.
But they're like, okay. And they're like, sounds good.
There's got to be some joke in here about our grandparents talking about their walk to school every morning.
Yeah.
Grandma, I walked to school so long. I hiked the Appalachian
You grew up in Georgia, but you went to school in Maine? Like, how do you...
Had to hike from Georgia to
I
Maine.
went to school in Maine and I lived in Georgia.
That's crazy.
But you know what's crazy about that, though, like not telling her family, is that nowadays, if you were going to do this, you not only would want to set yourself up with like a satellite phone so that you can call somebody and tell everybody you know what you're doing so that they can find you if you get lost in the woods, right? I mean, that's general hiking safety.
Yes.
And she's like, nobody knows she's doing this.
She's like,
and it's before you have like GPS and whatever.
Yeah, before you could even track someone down without knowing where they are.
I mean, now with like Starlink, you could like vlog your whole, like live stream right through the Appalachians. It's crazy. I know.
Yeah. No. So for so many reasons, she is like contradictory to every 21st century hiker. Well, I say that there is an exception. But to bring this to an even crazier turn, let me just tell you what she brought with her.
Oh no!
For this trip,
what I want to know.
Okay, this is her
Is this
Appalachian
58?
Trail.
1958.
This is 1955.
55.
Yeah, 1955. So I have a list of things that she brought with her. She brought a homemade denim bag with a blanket. So she had this like sack that she carried. She brought a shower curtain, which would be to keep the rain off.
Okay.
She brought a cup, a canteen, and a bottle of water, or bottle for water. She brought a small pot, a spoon, a Swiss Army knife, a first aid kit, pins, piece of rope, raincoat, warm coat, and one change of clothes. And notice what I didn't say.
And
Nope.
There's nothing else.
That's it. That's it. She did not bring a tent.
Oh my gosh.
She did not bring any sort of sleeping bag. She barely brought any food.
So I was gonna ask the food, yeah.
So she did not like pack. Maybe she packed like a day or so's worth of food, but she didn't pack
for the 6 months. Obviously, you can't pack 6 months worth
Dude,
of food.
I'd be starving on the plane ride down to Atlanta.
Right.
Where's the airport Chick-fil-A?
So I'm sure you have the answer to this later on, but like in terms of the infrastructure that existed at the time, I know like for the trail today, I know people have done it. It's like you stop at a town after several days. You stop at a town. You have these little pit stops to kind of refuel. Did that exist to the same extent?
Well,
or
she thought that it did.
Okay,
so that's part of the reasoning why she didn't bring a ton, because the way that this National Geographic article kind of portrayed the trail, she thought that there would be cabins at the end of every day's hike.
Right.
She thought that there would be like a place to stay.
Girl Scouts selling cookies everywhere.
Yeah, like
So this is the 1950s version of clickbait.
Right,
exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she had this assumption in her mind that everything would just be kind of like, I don't know, this pleasant walk down, you know, like the hobbits in the Shire.
Like take one more step, Mr. Frodo. It's the furthest.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll get to that part a little bit and talk about the infrastructure a little more. But basically, long story short, it's very much not that way. So she starts on the trail and she like very obviously it is not what it was advertised at all. But she ends up what she ends up doing is she would basically continue like trying to find food on the trail. So apparently, and this is something that I had no idea about, there's this thing on the Appalachian Trail called trail magic, which is like people are like being generous and they'll leave things for hikers. And really
like other hikers leaving things.
Yeah, or people who live right next to the Appalachian Trail will like leave packs of food or something like that. So the only way she really survives this trip is because people end up doing that and becoming generous.
Interesting.
So she relied on basically raisins, nuts, chicken bouillon cubes, and then other foods that she could eat while it was cold. If she couldn't find that, then she would just forage. She would like go look in the woods and find all the greens.
Find that mushroom James was talking
exactly.
about.
Look for that
Caesar's head,
that that Roman mushroom.
Man, but it's not just about the calories. Like you need a good, nutritious diet if you're hiking, right?
Right.
Like it's not like.
Can you imagine how much weight you would lose after 6 months of hiking, and then also like not quite like I don't know if she's getting enough calories a day, but
not a lot,
if you're not, then you're losing a ton of weight.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
How much to lose? I mean, that's, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, she just kind of basically the only thing she could do was rely on the generosity of strangers, and then just forage when she could. So basically she would just have to hike every few days and then find that. If she couldn't find a place to sleep, then it says that she would find basically a pile of leaves. She would find a picnic bench. She would find sometimes she even found like a park bench. But let me pull this up, Austin, if you wouldn't mind just showing a picture of Grandma Gatewood.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There she is.
Wow.
So to answer your question, I think Daniel, you asked earlier, she basically wore normal clothing. There was no like hiking gear for this grandma. There she is.
It's literally a grandma.
She's
on
always
a walk.
carrying a sack.
Right.
That's true.
Wait, is that the denim thing?
That's the denim sack.
Yeah, it's like a babushka. I'd see.
It's like a babushka.
Yeah. Just
so
hanging out, right?
her shoes though, she wore these canvas sneakers, kind of like Converse, you know.
Wow, off the wall, man.
Dude, what an advertisement.
Oh yeah, they do look like Converse, don't they?
They do look like Converse.
The brand was like Keds too, I think was what it was called.
Is this how you reveal to us that this was actually a sponsored walk?
Sponsored by,
honestly.
Amazing.
Yeah, no.
So I would buy those shoes.
I love how today, like, people hike will be like spending $400 on like these boots. Like, I googled all the different things about footwear and I optimized the art. She's like, honey, I just went in my shoes. I just walked the trail.
Okay, but disclaimer: if you're gonna do anything like this, do your research, buy the right gear.
We're not judging you.
Don't do what she
be
did.
a chicken. Do it.
No, it is very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
Right. So she basically, like, I don't know, this like resiliency 101, just tough grandma going at it. But yeah,
I was gonna say, just based on the danger, I was saying, you guys were just talking about how like you would have satellite phones and all these things back then. Like even still today, on average, 6 people go missing every year on the Appalachian Trail with all of the available technology we have. So like it is dangerous to still do this thing.
Dang.
And it was even more dangerous, obviously, back then.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It is very dangerous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, any kind of camping, hiking, but especially if you're gonna do multi-day stuff like that, you need the right gear. You need the right security in place, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
And I would say too, like she had this kind of knowledge and awareness that served her quite well. You know, like even the ability to just like go out and forage if you can't find food. Or to like, I mean, this is hopefully common knowledge, but like setting signal fires and like figuring out how to do all that if you get lost. She walked in and she was, I mean, you would assume that this grandma like would not have been able to do what she did, but because of her life and what she was able to, I don't know, the life experiences that she had, she really went in prepared. Then definitely more than I would.
That reminds me of a story. This is a quick story, but I recently, with some friends from our church, we were planning a camping trip, which I actually didn't end up going on, but a bunch of people from the church ended up going on. One of the guys had never been camping before. And he was like, why would you do this? Like, you know, go without your house for a day or whatever. Like, it makes no sense. But we eventually convinced him. And then he was like, okay, but can I not be one of the hunters? And we all looked at him. We were like, what do you think we're going to be doing?
Like applying to Survivor.
Yeah. He was like, don't you just like go out in the woods and just try to survive? We were like, no,
we're not.
And we were like, dude, none of us have guns. Like, how do you think we're going to hunt?
We don't take finds about glamping. People could drive their nice trailer, hook it up to water, and just like, you know.
You thought you were following the wildlife around as they're grazing. Seasonal patterns.
Yeah. So he came around. We just bought a bunch of groceries, and he was like, "Oh, this is way better than I thought."
That's so adorable, man.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, so I will say like I said, she's resilient. She's able to do this. And at the same time, she did have to rely on the generosity of strangers. And this actually ends up becoming pretty easy for her to do because halfway through the trip, word starts getting around that she is doing this hike. She starts to get like pretty popular in the areas surrounding the Appalachian Trail. So I think it was around Virginia at some point. That's when reporters started kind of catching on and they like start spreading the news. So it becomes this like she becomes like a little celebrity basically. Like the news outlets start picking up on this and it starts making its way in newspapers. And she has people who come onto the trail to start interviewing her. So I think even the Associated Press and Sports Illustrated end up going when she's like in Virginia and Maryland. Nice. And to bring it back to the kids, the only reason that these kids ever knew that she was hiking is when a newspaper clipping makes it to Ohio.
Her kids had to have found it.
Haven't they like submitted missing posters?
I was like, are they like grandma's gone missing?
No,
like does she? Until then, they must have been freaking out. But to read that in the newspaper,
wake up one day, they're like, oh, that's right. Where did she?
I forgot about her.
That's insane.
No, so
that is crazy.
The story afterwards that they're saying, I mean, I don't know if this is true, but they kind of played it off afterwards. They were like, yeah, we knew she'd take care of herself wherever she was, so we weren't too worried.
Yeah, well, honestly, with a grandma like that, you might have that attitude.
It probably is true. Like, she's probably proven herself to be the kind of person who could do something like that.
Well, she already tried it once, right?
So she did, but she never told anyone.
She didn't tell them that she did it,
Yeah, but she was gone long enough to try and then come back. So she had been gone probably a couple days that time.
Right, so, yeah, and you know, at this time, like, people
cell
leave.
phone,
People leave for a few days. It's like, you know,
that's true.
You can't just call them all the time.
Yeah, it probably wasn't as weird for them if you don't hear from someone for a day. Like these days, you're like, what happened?
But it had been a couple months, so you know.
Yeah, it's getting a
little weird.
It is one of those like,
when do we?
Why is grandma here for Easter or for Christmas?
It's like, where's grandma? Shut up and pass the Sports Illustrated. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez.
Yeah. Wow. So she does it. Yeah. She keeps making her way.
Johnny boys.
Shut up and pass the Sports.
Who says that? Wait a minute.
She was Sports. Anyway, back to Samuel.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll bring it to the end. So by September, she reached Maine, the final part of the journey. So the day before her final stretch, which is the final summit, is this like mountain. Which, by the way, remember, when we're talking Appalachian Trail, we're not just talking like trail, like walk in the park. We're talking mountains, literally.
Yeah.
So the final summit is this mountain. And she, the day before, ends up like tripping over something, and she ends up breaking her glasses again. And then she bruises her face and sprained her ankle.
Please tell me she had an extra pair of glasses this time. 'Cause, I mean, after the first time, right?
I don't know if she did. Maybe Austin can help us find out.
Maybe
But
Sports Illustrated gave her a
that's
sponsored.
But whatever happened with the glasses, it didn't stop her. She was like, I'm gonna finish this. And
I'd be more worried about the ankle at that point.
I know.
Yeah.
So
that's tough. Yeah.
she ends up pushing through though. And she, on September 25th, ends up making it to the summit, finishes the Appalachian Trail. And she finishes, I can't remember what she ends up saying. She says something like, I did it. I actually did it. And then she sings America the Beautiful as like a way to celebrate.
Yeah.
But she ends up writing her name. There's like a little logbook at the end of the Appalachian Trail. Wow. She writes her name, and she ends up being the first woman to solo hike the entire thing.
Wow. Give her a clap.
Yeah.
Give her a
That's
clap.
crazy.
Amazing.
And then those same park rangers come and they're like,
Go home, Grandma.
She was like, I already did it.
It's over.
Can't stop me now. Yeah, no,
Wow.
so she did it. And at this point, she becomes this like pretty nationally recognized hero. Like she's beloved. Great. She ends up going on the Today Show.
Oh,
that's fun. What do you do after that? I mean, did she just go, like at the end of Forrest Gump when he's done running across the country and he's like, I think I'm ready to go home now. What did she do?
Well,
back to her kids
immediately afterwards, she starts doing interviews across the country.
Sure, yeah.
She's like pretty nationally recognized, like a little celebrity. Let me read this to you. She has this really funny thing that she ended up saying. She was asked about the trail, and she said, I thought it would be a nice lark, which is like a walk, I thought it would be a nice lark. It wasn't. There were terrible blowdowns, burnt over areas that were never remarked, gravel and sand washouts, weeds and brush to your neck, and most of the shelters were blown down, burned down, or so filthy that I chose to sleep out of doors. This is no trail. This is a nightmare.
That's hilarious.
And then she sued National Geographic.
Right. False advertising.
That's the next step for sure.
But then she said, I would have never started this trip if I had known how tough it was, but I couldn't and I wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm going to do it.
Man.
It's a classic thing that people say.
So I'm curious, was her experience like an impetus for people to start like maybe fixing up the
how
trail
many men
a bit more?
had done the solo before her?
So
How many
another
people
one
have
had
this
done it
before?
in the 40s, I think. Can you, Austin, would you mind looking
Is
up?
it like 2 people have done it before? Is it like 50?
Yeah.
Well,
I think only
to be 67 and
oh
my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah.
But she wasn't done. There was
more.
more.
I was gonna say, you said she did it multiple times. So even though she said it was a nightmare,
she said it was a nightmare. She goes back 2 years later, and she decides she's going to do it again. And then she said she was going to do it this time because she just wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah, the last time wasn't for the
last
enjoyment.
time was not for enjoyment.
Well, now that I'm expecting the horrid conditions, it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to that, I guess.
Had things gotten better for the trail at that point?
So to kind of show you the influence she had on the Appalachian Trail, she went back the second time and ends up doing it again and realizes that the trail is in much better condition now because of her speaking out and saying
her
this
Yelp
trail
review was like famous.
Now, that's like real influence there for her to have like gone on this tour, get the word out, and then they actually improve the trail.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, awesome.
So when you said first woman hiker to finish it solo, my first thought was like, oh, so like a ton of people had done this. It was just the first time a woman had done it alone. Only 5 men had done it prior to this time.
Crazy.
So she was the 6th person ever to hike.
And they're
this
probably, I'm
by
guessing they're probably
themselves.
pretty peak condition of guys that probably did that. I mean,
and probably weren't 67.
I will say that I think if I remember correctly, there was another woman who had done the hike before in like the 40s, but she had done it with another person, with another guy. So, but still, she was the first person to do it alone and the 6th person to ever do it. The second time she did it, let me just remind you, this time she decides to add a little bit more to her bag. She brings a flashlight. She also brought a poncho and a sun hat. So we're stepping it up a little bit.
A little more luxurious.
What about the food though?
Food? No, she keeps.
I was gonna say, like, after doing it the first time, you probably have a pretty good idea of what you need.
What you
Like,
actually need. Yeah.
Yeah. After doing it for 6 months, you'd be like, man, I really wish I had whatever.
It's you know how like when you have a kid, your first kid, you buy all this stuff and all the equipment and all the.
That's right.
And then our second kid, we're like, I don't really need anything. Like get one or two things we actually really needed.
That's right.
Probably the opposite with her.
It's like the
though.
inverse.
She's like, I don't need that.
She's found what she really needed though.
Yeah.
That's guys, I got to show you a photo of the first guy whoever did it.
Oh yeah.
Wait, could not be more.
Oh yeah.
Could not be more different than
What a cheap
physical
that is
condition.
that's
Right,
what
looks
we
like a Marine.
night and day difference.
Kind of looks like you, Austin.
That looks like a
Is that
Marine.
your grandfather?
Always half expecting just a photo of you.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but she ends up doing it a second time. Grandma Gatewood walks the trail, and this is her accomplishment. She was the first person to do it twice, man or woman.
Wow.
So she was already in her own record category at that point.
Wow.
And like I said, because of the efforts on the first one, it was much. I mean, I'm not going to say it was much easier, but the trail was cleaned up a little bit. There was a lot more kind of, I don't know, concentration to make sure that everything was taken care of. She ends up hiking with different people, like different scouts, talking with the different scouts. And so she does it a second time in 1957 at the age of 69, which is crazy.
Jeez.
But yeah, so let me wrap up the rest of her life. I'm going to just read you, because she's still not done. She's in her 70s now, but she has a list of other things that she ends up doing after this. So in 1958, at the age of 70, she hikes 6 of the Adirondack Mountains in New York.
Right.
So these this mountain range in New York. She hikes 6 of them. 1959, age 71, she feels inspired to take on the Oregon Trail, which is this 2,000-mile trail that starts in Missouri and goes all the way up to Portland, Oregon. And it's kind of tracing the trail, the original Oregon Trail.
That's crazy. Wow.
So she does 2,000 miles, and she averaged 22 miles a day.
That's like a Roman soldier, man.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. Which I didn't even mention with the
That is
the
crazy.
first Appalachian Trail. She averaged 14 miles a day.
That's so mountains.
Of mountains.
With the elevation, I was
Right.
going to say.
So
wow.
she finished the Appalachian Trail. I think it was about 4 months. And Austin, I was curious if you could look this up at some point.
Maybe we need to get Austin's on camera.
I know. The elevation for the Appalachian Trail, like what the elevation range is.
So she completed it in 146 days.
Okay.
But I'll look up the elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's about 6 months. Yeah.
yeah.
You know that meme where
Wait,
from
no, less than 6 months. What is that?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do the math. The math.
Two to
Do
two.
the math meme. I don't know what that is. It's less than 6 months. I don't know. What
Well,
it
you know that meme what's
5
in Invincible
months?
where it's like, look
5
what they have to
and a
do to mimic a fraction of our power. It's like modern hikers with all their equipment,
Right.
and it's just
Right.
Grandma Emma.
Yeah, I
Gatewood
thought it was going to
just-
take her like 9 months or something.
No.
But
It's remarkable. Yeah.
So the average daily gain of elevation across the whole trip is between 4,000 and 4,200 feet per day of elevation gain.
That's crazy.
Total across the whole trip is over 500,000 feet, equal to climbing Everest 16 times.
Based on the up and down you have to go.
gosh.
Dude,
and
that's
she did
crazy.
14
Isn't that
miles a
insane?
day.
I get winded going up the stairs, people.
Going up these stairs
I
in your
know.
house.
Like every day
I-
up the stairs.
I just can't wrap my mind around the fact that this is the 50s. This lady's 67.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have any of the modern technology, nutrition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
No
attire.
protein bars.
And
no-
like, yeah, again, that age just means something completely different in the 50s. I just can't
Right.
fully fathom how insane this is.
It is
It's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
And she's not like like a lifelong athlete.
Yeah.
I guess she grew up on the farm. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're not as sedentary as we are these days.
Right.
Sure.
Well, and let me wrap it up with a couple more things she does. 1964. This is 60. She's age 76. She does the trail one more time.
Wow.
76.
Yeah. So with this one, she actually does it in parts. So she doesn't like do it all the way at once, but she would like do a portion and then she would stop for a little bit and then she would do another portion. But
oh, that's not that impressive then. That's not
yeah, no, it's not.
That's how most people do it.
Completely contradicts it. So,
wow.
But she ends up doing it a third time, and she has a record. She's done it 3 times now, and by the time she reached her 80s, she'd slowed down a little bit, but not by much.
Now she was at like our level. As
Her version of retirement was she decides that she's going to go out in her. She lives in Ohio, remember. And she spends 10 hours a day clearing portions of what would become the Buckeye Trail.
Oh, wow.
So the
I've
Buckeye
heard of this
Trail
one, yeah.
is this trail that goes all the way around Ohio.
Yeah. I was watching a Trails of America video way back a few months ago. Like they talk about
As
all the
one
different
does.
places.
That's
Don't
right.
ask me how I got to that weird corner
I'm
of
not going
YouTube.
to. Go ahead.
But it was going through all the different places you can go trailing and
Yeah.
hiking in America. And I remember that one that goes
Yeah,
around Ohio. Yeah.
So
that's cool.
that's her work for like the last few years of her life. She spends 10 hours a day just clearing the trail, and she clears out about like 30 miles of this what would eventually become this really long loop.
That's cool.
And she ends up dying at the age of 84, but right before she dies, what she does is she ends up taking this bus. She gets a like open-ended bus ticket, and she does a like tour of the continental US and visits every state right before she dies. And so that was kind of her last hurrah, but she ends up dying at the age of 84. She dies of a heart attack. At the age of 85, excuse me. At the end of her life, she had 11 kids, 23 grandkids, 30 great-grandkids, and 1 great-great-grandchild. Wow. So, yeah,
legacy,
60-something kids.
Some not stats you hear
overall.
these days, man.
Yeah. What a legacy. It's so
Yep.
cool.
Wow.
But at the end of the...
I bet you can still find her. I mean, pretty easily descendants in Ohio.
Oh yeah. So a lot
Probably
of
a
the
whole town
research,
of her descendants.
right?
Yeah,
And
we
they all
love
live
grandma
living-
over here. And
You go hiking on the Appalachian Trail, and they're like, "I'm related to Grandma Gatewood." No, so at the end of her life, they kind of tallied up all the hiking that she ended up doing, and they estimated that she had walked more than 14,000 miles, which is more than halfway around the globe.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. And she did all this like
This
in
is
her
all after her
60s, 70s.
50s. Yeah, that's
Right.
crazy.
So
Never too late to start hiking, guys.
I was gonna say, did she do much hiking when she was younger, or
no, so she had
Yeah.
never hiked before per
Yeah.
se, but like I said, she grew up on a farm.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
more active than we are, but
Yeah.
yeah, but just like the actual hobby of hiking itself, she had
No,
never
but
done.
in the like story of her life, like all of the abuse experience, she would take long walks in the woods.
Oh.
So she spent a lot of time outdoors,
Yeah.
and she spent a lot of time walking. And that's what I really find fascinating about her story. Honestly, like you kind of hear it and you're like, oh, this grandma went and hiked the Appalachian Trail, and then you like start learning more about her story, and then you see like all of the kind of crazy stuff that happened in her early life, and just the awful things that she experienced. And then you're like, oh man, there's like a lot of layers to this woman that you probably wouldn't even realize when you just see it like in a newspaper clipping or something. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's
Wow.
Grandma Gatewood.
Could you imagine
What a
like your
story.
grandmother being like, "Hey, you want to come for a hike with me this time?"
You're
Sure,
like,
grandma. It'll
Sure,
be a
Grandma.
walk
Try to
in
keep
the
up,
park.
Grandma.
she takes us to the airport. You know you're in the wrong hiking trail.
Like, I've still never hiked in Arizona. Let's try that one. You're like, what?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll wrap up with a couple of things. She is kind of known and recognized, especially among hikers, to have really revitalized the Appalachian Trail. It really is what it is today because she went and did that hike and kind of complained about it, honestly. Complaining works sometimes.
Yeah.
Squeaky
Sometimes
wheel
it's
gets
crazy.
the grease.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
It gets the grease.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Do you want the grease though?
Not grease per se, but metaphorical grease.
Well, to grease it
yes.
up. Yes.
The Appalachian Trail needed some metaphorical
It
grease.
needed
Let's-
some
yeah,
grease.
Yeah.
The other thing that she inspired is, and that's why I was like saying earlier that she is actually kind of related to modern day hikers, because she kind of started this trend which is called ultra light hiking. And the idea of that is that you take as little as possible. And she said often, like, the only reason she was able to do it is because she brought basically nothing. Like, she brought 15 pounds worth of stuff, which, like, my 10-month-old is heavier than that, you know? So
just take him now.
Just take him.
Carry him all the time.
Metric.
But she inspired this thing I found called the Gatewood cape, which is basically a poncho that turns into a tent. So it's this like crazy
I thought
thing.
it was just going to be a shower curtain.
Just a shower curtain. No, so it looks like this strange thing where you like wear this poncho and then it sets up and you like lay under it. Wow. So maybe we can find a picture.
The Gatewood cape.
The Gatewood cape.
Wow.
So there is a trend among certain Appalachian Trail hikers. You just bring as little as possible, and she really was the first one to kind of do that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Austin's got a picture of it. Wow, look at that. Yeah, there's a little, you see the little top where the head would go.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go.
It looks
That's
like an
it.
actual tent.
Yeah. But yeah, that's her story. That's Grandma Gatewood.
Well, thanks, Sam.
That's
That's
crazy.
quite the.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's what it looks like when
the
you're
poncho,
putting it
yeah.
on.
That's
Wow.
so
Amazing.
crazy. That is like, it's very inspiring to be
Yeah.
like, you can do something like that
Guys,
at that age.
I think we should do it. I think our next episode needs to be on the trail. Let's get
do
it.
I was gonna say when we
we're-
all
when
turn
we're
67,
67,
but we have to do it solo. So one at a time. We'll go.
It's like, hey, Johnny. You're like, talk to me.
Johnny
Start
gets
doing
like a
some-
we're
mile
solo.
that starts. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what you guys come up with.
We are
yeah.
kind of close to the beginning of the trail. I mean, we're in South Carolina. It's
Yep.
close to Georgia where it starts. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why I was like, I have to tell this woman's story, because our kids, for some reason, like take a fascination with the Appalachian Trail. We were driving by it a couple months ago, and we were listening to The Hobbit.
Yes.
And it was like smoky. It was like fall weather,
Mm.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful. That time of
they
year,
were
yeah.
they were convinced it was the Misty Mountains.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of.
Did they start singing the song?
Our song we do is like,
I don't know how it goes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we've all been on the Appalachian Trail, right? You guys have been.
I mean, I've driven through the area. I've been to the.
I feel like you guys must have. I mean, we've
I've probably.
Hiked it, you mean?
just like a portion of it. Like
I don't think
my wife and I went on like a mile or something, but I can't imagine doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Something
ever
like
done.
that.
I don't think I've ever done
Oh,
that.
really?
It's a gorgeous area. Yeah. In the fall, that whole area is just incredible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the mountains aren't tall enough to like break above the tree line. So you get
Right.
tons of trees and they're all,
Yep.
most of them are a lot of deciduous. So in the fall, it's just
Mm.
amazing.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Especially
cool.
when you get to Maine
Yeah.
in the fall.
Maine in the fall, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
Wow.
you, Samuel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow,
Great.
very inspiring. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
wanna
I
talk us
think-
out, Johnny.
Well, I was just gonna say
Outro us.
it might inspire one or all of us to do more hiking, but we are in a very South Carolina has a lot of nice hiking trails, and I like hiking, so
Yep. Yep.
I like the kind of hiking that you can like be back for lunch. You know what I mean? Like just do a
Right.
quick hike, go to
Bring
Applebee's
your-
for lunch.
Applebee's hiking. It's really more my thing. I'm a man of the screen. What can I say?
yeah.
There it is.
Very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to come up with a very nice song. I don't know what genre we'll do.
I wonder
know.
what genre.
Yeah, that's
this
gonna
will
be half the fun. Is
Yeah.
maybe we should do something with Appalachian inspiration because that's.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't have
That's
a
a whole-
banjo.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
Mm.
I have
Old
some
medicine
background in that kind
show,
of
you
music.
know.
Maybe we can
Like a
figure
jug,
something
someone
out.
blowing the jug, you know.
Do you play jug, Sam? Do you play
Moonshine
jug?
I can pretend.
You jug a little
do it.
jug, bro?
One
I
of us
think I
on the
got some milk
washboard.
down there.
just items around the house.
Yeah.
These things laying around.
Spoons. Yeah,
That's
someone's
right.
playing
The
spoons.
spoons.
You know
Yeah.
an awful
Yeah.
lot about this genre.
Well, no promises that that'll be the genre we end up
Watch
playing.
like a gangster rap song immediately
Yeah,
plays.
who
After this.
knows?
It's like whoa.
Who knows? Yeah, we at this moment we have no idea what kind of song we'll make, but that's obviously only going to play in a few moments for you, dear listeners. So you don't have to wait long for that.
Mhm.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Anything else to add, guys?
I think that's it. Excited for the next episode, which Johnny will
Yep.
present
Yes.
some person that we don't know about.
Yep.
So we'll
Yep.
see you guys in that one.
I'm gonna go take a walk now. So
No,
back.
no.
I'm gonna go take a walk.
Be
All
back
right.
in 6 months. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
I don't know which one.
Try wait.
We were gonna hold it a little bit. Okay, right.
So Daniel just starts.
She's on her way through Appalachia, no doubt about you. Some people call her insane, but she'll see you in Maine. She'll hike circles around you.
Get a load of this, old lady.
Get a load of this great grandma.
She's packing almost nothing, hiking on the trail and hitting every landmark. Told the kids she'd be back by dinner,
But she's gonna be back much later. Ride the bus to start up north. Go home, Grandma, said the park ranger.
She's on her way through Appalachia, no doubt about you. Some people call her insane, but she'll see you in Maine. She'll hike circles around you.
undeterred she gets right back out there.
Finished up about 5 months later.
Even though she said it ain't no lark, 2 more times she's a force of nature.
She's on her way through Appalachia, no doubt about you. Some people call her insane, but she'll see you in Maine. She'll hike circles around you. She's on her way through Appalachia, no doubt about you. Some people call her insane, but she'll see you in Maine. She'll hike circles around you. She's on her way through Appalachia, no doubt about you. Some people call her insane, but she'll see you in Maine. She'll hike circles around you.
I think that might be it.